Okay, so I don't know what's going on this week, but the media is misinforming the public, and there's quite the spin now on these Wolbachia-infected Aedes releases. In fact, it urged me to even write someone for clarification to see what was going on. Now, David Miller, who's being petitioned and has received hundreds of your emails asking him to look into this, he was stating today, and I do respond to him, he ignores me. He says we need to act before species get identified as endangered because it's so hard to turn around populations once they've deteriorated that far. So what I'm referring to is what was in the news just recently, is that half of Canada's wildlife species are in decline, the WWF finds. Well, guess what? Here we go. We've got shorebird populations declined by 43%. Waterfowl, birds of prey increased, and aerial insectivores fell by 51%. Well, you know, it's really starting to look like Wolbachia-infected Aedes in the food chain is affecting vertebrate species. And my theory actually fits with many species. Migratory birds are going to be able to carry things further, and birds can amplify a virus 1 billion times more than a human. And no, I'm not exaggerating that. So I want to share with you a few screenshots and some email exchanges I made, and let you know, CBC especially, it's very dangerous to not include all the information that a scientist has disclosed to you, because it can affect millions of people and their health. And as a Canadian taxpayer, I've added CBC to this petition to start looking at their ethical standards and journalistic practices, because we won't get to the bottom of this unless we start to have people being forthcoming. And I think it was Peter Drucker who said the most important thing in communication is hearing what is not being said. And you know what's not being said? No one's talking about Culex. It's like there's a media ban on Culex. Well, guess what? In Culex tarsalis, Wolbachia enhanced West Nile virus. And in another species of Culex, Wolbachia enhanced malaria. And these species of Culex have been identified by 5 independent research teams to be vectors of Zika. Now, I have friends asking me all the time, who are you writing? You should get off social media and start writing. I've written hundreds of people. And I'm still not hearing anyone talking about what Wolbachia-infected Aedes is doing to the food chain, namely vertebrate species. And I'm not hearing anywhere in the news that wild-caught Culex, 3 species of them, including pools of males that have Zika, are vectors of Zika, along with the Aedes. All we're hearing is Aedes aegypti, aren't we? Aedes albopictus, that's the other one. Well, guess what? There are other vectors of Zika, and Wolbachia enhances their potential, and these vectors bite overnight. But everybody's been told daytime biters, daytime active. So CBC, how about reporting on the whole truth? Because you're doing a huge disservice to Canadian taxpayers by just cherry-picking what you want to cover. And I suspect there's big money behind what you've been reporting lately, and I'm going to show you that. Thanks for listening.